and lived through it. And,
This is in 2004, or?
yeah, well, no, this would be right after. This is right after. So it took a couple of years for me to come on information that contradicted the idea that the Arabs, had hijacked these jetliners and brought the buildings down with the planes. So as that information began to come out, we became more and more skeptical of what we had been told. Eventually, a group formed in St. Mark's Church. Are you familiar with New York City?
Not much. I mean, I've been here a couple times, but I don't know any big landmarks or churches or anything.
Well, on 10th and 2nd Avenue, there's this old-time church, St. Mark's Church.
Okay.
So we started a group there called New York 9/11 Truth, and we were down there for years, many years.
Okay.
And there was tons of people getting involved in it. It went on for years and years. And then eventually that turned into something else, and they transmogrified it into another. Basically, they formed a not-for-profit organization and started raising funds, and we never saw them again. They disappeared.
Gotcha.
The meetings pretty much stopped, and that's the way it went. But, as time went on, it became more obvious that these planes that flew into the buildings, they had bring down the buildings.
Gotcha.
Just not going to do it.
Okay.
Do you want to discuss anything around this? Or,
I mean, I know quite a bit.
What do you believe about the events or how familiar?
I think I'm pretty familiar. Are you guys able to hear us right now, or is it too quiet in the chat? Trying to see. Some people are complaining that we're a little quiet.
It's too quiet? Okay.
Some said we can hear, some say we can't.
Where's the mic?
I think it's somewhere just on the phone in general,
On
so
the
just
front?
make sure that
Okay.
we're speak it up a little.
Move it forward.
A little bit, just so I can see us, but I don't know how much it's gonna help it. Yeah, I think I'm pretty familiar with everything. I guess I would say that it seems like people hijacked the planes, flew into the buildings, and the buildings came down as a result of that.
That's what you believe?
Yeah, I believe that.
It
Yeah.
was a result of the planes coming in?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't believe that happened at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you take a look at the films of the buildings coming down, they're just exploding. They're exploding right in the face. It's a gigantic explosion in both cases. Massive explosions are going on. You can just see it.
What do you mean by when we say massive explosion?
Well, the entire building is blowing up from top to bottom. It looks like a mushroom cloud. It's just continually exploding as it falls to the ground. It actually doesn't collapse. It simply disintegrates in midair. It's explosive. It's an explosive-like event. Take a look at it. On its face, it looks that way. You know what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, I've seen it, but doesn't it just look like it's coming down and there's a ton of debris, of course?
Yeah, a ton of debris, shooting out the sides, as if it were exploding in midair. That's the first impression of watching this film. So that should be taken into account. The fact that it looks like the buildings are exploding.
Okay, so
I mean, everything inside those buildings were ripped to shreds.
Uh-huh.
They were just pulverized, destroyed. My friend went down there. He's a priest, a Christian priest, to do last rites on the remains and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me there was nothing left.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
There wasn't anything left there. He didn't see any kind of materials that you would ordinarily find in the building collapse. None of that was there. It was nothing but dust and steel beams. Okay, there was hardly anything left. Most of the debris that of the bodies they found that were collected were very tiny pieces of human remains, very small pieces. There were no office furniture, visible office furniture, very few, anything larger than half an inch. It was just torn to shreds inside. Everything in the building was torn to shreds.
Sure.
Really pulverized. So that is another indication of massive explosions in the building, just ripping apart everything in the building. I hope people can hear what I'm saying.
Yeah, we can hear. Okay, so I'm familiar with the demolition story. So, a couple questions. First one is, wouldn't they have had to take weeks to plant all the bombs necessary for this?
Sure.
how could that many bombs be planted and nobody was none the wiser? How did nobody see anybody coming in or out, any crews working, any of the charges being placed? There's like thousands of people that go in and out of these buildings every day, right?
Well, presumably it's being done after hours when nobody's around.
Thank you very much. Are these the dumplings? Gotcha. Did you order anything?
Yeah, let me order a green curry.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, is this the hot sauce? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
recurring with tofu.
Yeah, that would be good.
Too much.
One?
For tofu, don't cook too much.
No, whatever they usually do in green.
Okay, and anything else?
No, that's good. That's good. Yeah. So, what are we saying now? The explosions in the building.
What would have taken? What was I going to say for the?
How they planted the bombs in the building? So,
Seems like it would have been weeks.
Presumably, they did it after hours. It would have had to have been done with the knowledge of the company that controlled the security in the buildings.
That'd be a lot of people involved, though, right?
Not necessarily.
Well, you got to have teams of people rigging bombs. Probably, if you can only do it after hours, it's probably going to take weeks or months to set that many charges up. All the security people involved on different ships would have to know that people are allowed in and out without. Also, and the whole time nobody's.
I don't know. I don't believe that would necessarily be the Not necessarily.
It's also it's Manhattan. There's a lot of people at all hours of the day. Nobody saw anybody ever at any point going in or out with they probably need a ton of equipment.
Oh, they did. There's a lot of testimony about the closure, the shutting down of the electrical systems in the building the last couple of weeks. There was an elevator repair job going on, going up and down elevators. I don't know what the total evidence is on that, but there was a lot of suspicious activity in those buildings, for sure. That was going on in the last few weeks.
I guess it's just
You say you believe it's impossible to have planted bombs in the building without the knowledge of all these people that are supposedly around at the time.
Yeah.
I don't believe that. I think they can do it very easily. They can come under disguise of some company. They can have another excuse for being there. They can be dressed in uniforms. They can be brought in at odd hours. They can go to specific locations and then travel up and down the elevators unbeknownst to other people in the building who think that they're maybe elevator repairmen. There's a lot of different ways that you can get this done. It's not like thousands of eyes are constantly looking in every direction.
Well, there would be in the World Trade Centers, right? There'd be a lot of people looking.
Not in the middle of the night.
Not in the middle of the night, maybe, but I think there's the second part of that, too, is that if it was a demolition, it seems strange that the U.S. government would try to do demolitions for these would be the largest demolitions in the history of the planet. I think the tallest building that had been demolished up to that point was like 46 stories tall. So this would have been 2 times, or 3 times if you believe World Trade Center 7 was brought down by bombs as well. To try to do this conspiracy, they would have had to have gotten enough people in and out, I guess at odd hours, nobody's seen, to try to demolish the largest buildings that had ever been demolished in the history of the world. It seems like a lot of stuff that could go wrong, no?
It's a big job, that's for sure.
Well, the largest job in the world, times 3.
You know about Danny Jawenko?
Nope.
Okay, he was a demolition expert, one of the foremost experts in Europe, supposedly, and he took a look at number 7 World Trade Center. He just said immediately, it's a professional job being demolished by controlled demolition. He had no doubt. Danny Jawenko. So there's one expert in demolition telling me number 7 was taken down with explosion. If number 7 was taken down with explosion, hear this out, this logic. Let's put aside whether they could accomplish such a big feat or not for a moment. Danny Jawenko looked at the films of number 7. He said, "This is professional work." This was exactly, no doubt, being brought down with controlled demolition. Furthermore, you may or may not know that when the NIST report was being written, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, the U.S. government scientific group, engineering group, whatever, took a look at number 7, World Trade Center. 7 years later, they didn't look at the they did not look at this issue for 7 years.